see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy.
So, I guess Murphy's Law completely applied to this morning. One hell of a day to go back to work, apparently. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, my entire morning was very much fucked from the get-go. And, like, for starters, nobody realized that one of our employees was going to be out this week for vacation. So we had to very quickly pull someone else to go cover him, which meant we had to pull someone else from another segment to come cover for him. And we already had a guy out because he needed to be out to go have surgery to fix his diverticulitis. You know, our thoughts and prayers with Rob. Hopefully he heals up very quickly. And as he was going in for surgery, he tested positive for COVID.
Oh, awesome.
So now he has to, and he has zero symptoms. Like, he has none. He just, the test popped positive.
How dare he be selfish like that?
Yeah. So, and of course, you know, here's me driving the truck he drove on Saturday. So luckily, there won't be any issues there, because unlike the last time when I actually caught COVID, essentially a year ago now, you know, oh yeah, happy anniversary to me on COVID.
I still haven't caught it yet.
That you know of. Assuming you haven't never had it. Assuming you don't.
My job test weekly.
Yeah, but you could have had it, cleared it out, and just been done with it. You might have
in less than a week. No, it's COVID, not cocaine. That's not how that works. It still would show.
Yeah. Well, we all know that both the tests and or treatments have never been 100%. So either way, but
I'm batting 100 so far.
Yeah, but on top of all
both
that,
my kids had COVID, laying on top of me for 2 weeks, and I still couldn't fucking catch it. I tried. I wanted a vacation.
You probably got
has various foods also tested for COVID.
Exactly, foods and animals as well. So you don't even have to be human to test positive for
precisely.
Yep. So the other thing on top of that, as if things couldn't get any worse, so they had to bring in a newbie who doesn't know much. He's only been working for about 6 months to cover for the guy who was out for the surgery. And he's a good enough guy, you know. He knows his way around mostly, in the literal sense, for my job in the cardboard industry.
Mostly.
And he calls me probably about 20 minutes after we leave our meet point. And he's like, "Hey, my truck broke down." I was like, "Jesus Christ, really?" He said it literally just cut out on him while driving, like it just stopped.
Like his work truck or his personal truck?
No, the work truck. Like, you know, we all meet up at a certain point, we divvy out our work, you know, and we go our separate ways. And and then we were talking about how bad our vehicles are while we were waiting, and coincidentally, his truck kills out on him.
That's shitty.
That's pretty damn bad.
Yes. Ricky is just cheesing at the camera. So, luckily he got it to start. I don't know what was wrong with it, but he apparently kept working after that, so I guess it wasn't that big of a deal. And I know these vehicles pretty well inside and out, so it may have been literally a loose connector. Like, they were gonna send a tow truck for him and all that, and when he called me, he just got it started again. I was like, okay. He was like, great, here we go. Oh, and then I accidentally answered a scam call when I was trying to.
Those are fun.
Yeah, I was trying to unpause the podcast I was listening to, and I wasn't in the vehicle. So, like, my phone's in the vehicle, so I don't see it, and it was like one of those perfect timing things. You know, like when you used to accidentally pick up the phone and somebody was already there.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, how that happens in the digital age, I don't know. So my phone never rang. And I pushed the button to unpause, and I answered it, and now all of a sudden I'm talking to somebody. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, who is this? And I'm like...
because they're using Skype mostly, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it. That's why it sounds like ass. So, luckily it didn't get anywhere. I just told him, look, I'm at work. I don't have time to talk, and she hung up. Didn't even say anything about anything. Just basically, you know, hello, is this where? And I'm like, yeah, look, I'm at work. Leave me alone. It's like... But I get like 5 or 6, and not to mention it's like election day here, I guess. So, it's like, I guess midterms or whatever, or no, primary time right now. So,
Oh, right, it is too, isn't
so
it?
right now, getting text messages constantly from every freaking candidate out there. Hey, vote for us. This is this. Blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. It's like you're still. Literally the other day I got one. I'm like, oh, you're still around. It's like I remember
Yeah,
hearing your
so-
name 15 years ago. I didn't know you were still here.
So that being said, to all of you in the U.S., dear God, I hope things go well for you.
We'll see.
All
Now,
of you.
now, mind you, some of these things are local, not
Yeah.
big time, because November is
Not
real
national.
voting
Oh,
time.
not federal.
No, this is
It's
local.
more-
This is here in
Right.
Texas.
Yeah. Well, God, either way, I hope things go well for you guys.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I mean.
Yes, I know.
As long as we don't go the way of Canada and get commies running and shit.
They're
things
working
are
on it.
slowly kind of looking up here, because we do have one guy up here, Pierre Polyev, who's a conservative guy.
How does he sound
And,
French and Russian
this
at the
guy's
same
like
time?
on the ball with everything.
Yeah.
So
Did you hear what I said, Mike?
no, sorry.
Yeah, I said, how does he
did.
sound French and Russian at the same time?
Yeah,
Pierre Polyev. It's like, yes,
Pierre
that is
Polyev.
Polyev.
Canada.
But he's
Canadian.
not, even though he has a French name, he's not French.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
Pierre's not strictly French, but mostly. Yeah. So I think
Anyway,
this
sorry.
this
Go
episode
ahead.
may either be Ricky went to Skullfest or mostly French, something like that. Not necessarily, but mostly French. But yeah, other than that, this morning was just fucking bonkers. Like it didn't make any sense. Like not only that, it was just like my boss was back from his vacation after the mess that happened last week, and now we're just trying to readjust to trying to get back to some semblance of normal after the quote unquote trouble I caused at work. You guys saw some of that. Yeah.
Were
I'm
you
a
naughty
troublemaker by
employee?
trying. Yeah, I'm such a troublemaker for trying to hold people accountable to the rules, and then they
Yeah.
tell me that they're making up new rules.
Yeah.
How dare you try to hold a corporation to rules that are in
Dang.
place to keep you down and not have to pay you? How dare you?
That's
Yeah.
right. You're such a selfish human being to look out for yourself and actually what's owed to you.
Yes, exactly. And also,
Where's your patriotism?
Piece of shit.
I know.
I mean, yeah, we are
Let's
a
go
very.
back to Mother Russia with all that thinking like that.
Hey, just because I'm from the Ukraine does not mean I'm Russian.
That's right.
Well,
He's more
well,
Chinese.
How dare
That's a
you?
little too close to
How dare you?
to real
How
life.
dare
to
you
even
assume his
think about
nationality?
it, you know.
Well, technically, I'm half Ukrainian. But either way,
Hopefully it's a good half.
I don't know which half it would be because, I mean, basically,
The
I'm.
half that's still standing.
I think
is it too soon for that?
internally I'm probably the Swedish part of my family, but externally I'm definitely Ukrainian. I've got
listen to Mr. fucking neutral over here.
I'm always neutral, Ricky.
Good luck with NATO.
Always. I'm a pH of 7 guy. Hey, look,
See,
I'm a pH of 7, Ricky.
Look at Ricky paying attention to the news, knowing that Sweden's trying to get in NATO. What up?
Yeah, and Russia said if Sweden and Denmark, was it
Finland?
Finland, couldn't remember which one of them, go join NATO, they'll start nuking everybody.
Yeah.
And now we've got
God.
trouble in Taiwan. Huh?
I just got a touch of Jewish. My dad's Austrian. My mom and her background is like, Russian and German. So
You gotta hate everybody
You're
for hating
just-
everybody.
You're
Well,
just dirty
yeah.
European, really, is what you are.
yeah, pretty much a mutt.
You're a
Right.
mutt.
And then you wrap it all in the Canadian fucking flag.
There you
Crazy.
go.
Just
because
they
we're
just
so
poured maple.
multicultural up here.
You just poured maple syrup all over it and called it done.
No,
That's
maybe.
it.
I know we got a lot of Ukrainians up here, so
Oh, actually,
Call it
no
Canadian.
joke. No joke.
Yep.
My uncle's sister, after during the war, they got split up. She ended up.
That's your aunt.
Nope, it's my uncle's sister, not my aunt. Not related to me at all.
It's still your aunt.
Not by
Even
blood.
if it's by marriage.
Not by
Even if
blood.
it's by marriage.
Nope,
Still
not
your
my aunt.
aunt.
Nope.
My aunt's husband is still my uncle.
Never called her aunt or aunt for that matter. Like called her by her name, but either way, during the war, their whole family got split up.
Yeah.
And my uncle literally thought he would never see a sister again, and then I think in like the early days of like MySpace and stuff like that, they literally discovered that the other was still alive.
Nice.
Oh wow!
So
That's
they
awesome.
met up again in their mid 50s.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool.
They were
That's-
they were separated as kids and met up again like 45 years later,
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
or however
That's
long that
awesome.
was. That's insane. But yeah, she definitely lived up there in Canadian. And she's gone now. She passed a few years ago. Name was Nadia, and
Yeah.
she, no joke, would wake up, whatever alarm clock went off. Before she got out of bed, she did a shot of whiskey and drank a Budweiser.
Yep.
Good
It's
God
like,
Almighty.
Jesus Christ, lady. It's like,
That's right.
she
That's
was
what a
cool
lot
as
of them
shit
do up
though.
here.
I really like.
In Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, I don't know why, it's just so common.
I think that's
Or
where she
for
was.
Ukrainians.
It was definitely not a French. It was definitely not a French
It's
section.
called
No.
boredom. We got nothing but fucking beavers and moose to watch all day in the
Why do you-
snow.
why do you
You'd be
assume
trying
that
to
there's
Maybe
so
the
many
occasional
beavers?
polar bear.
What, there's not that many beavers in Canada.
walk. I'm gonna wait while Mike tells you you're wrong.
No,
Go ahead and tell me
that.
he's wrong, Mike.
Sure.
He said y'all don't have beavers up there, Mike.
I said not that many. I didn't say they had
No,
none.
not that many. He said.
I mean,
So-
there's not that many beavers anywhere.
No. We got quite a bit of beavers. I mean,
There's a lot in Alaska for sure.
They're all kind of hidden away and whatnot under their
hiding.
their dams and stuff like that. But
They're dams.
it's not like we have a surplus of beavers that we can send all over the world.
That was a
they're
really
exporting.
long paragraph. That was a really long paragraph. You can make it super concise by saying Shoki, Ricky was right.
Yeah, but nobody would actually say that sentence. And with that,
I mean, I just said it.
and on that beaver note, welcome
yeah.
to episode 12 of the Now You Made It Awkward podcast. And yes, I am keeping track of the numbers, even though I was accused of saying the wrong podcast number last week, which I was not.
I didn't accuse you of that, did I?
No.
Oh, pshaw.
No, Will did. Will said that I said episode 10, and I'm like, no, I didn't. I was like, I know I said episode 11,
shit.
and I was drunk as hell when we started last week, and I still got the episode right.
Yeah.
You're
Pretty
drunk
sure.
as hell by the end of it, too. Don't fucking play around.
No, dude,
That
I was,
water didn't help.
I was very... Dude, I ate in the middle of that. I ate a whole bunch of buffalo wings in the middle of that.
Is that what all that slurping sounds were?
That's what you were doing.
Some of that was me, yes, but I don't know what the rest of that noise was, because I heard it, too.
I thought
I
you were
muted.
paying rent.
No, I was muted most of the time I was eating, so I don't know where
He
some of that
was-
noise was coming from.
He was paying for it.
Yeah, speaking of
Yeah.
rent, we have to re-sign our lease currently, and they forgot to include our 5% discount. So I've got to tell them that today when we get out of
Not
here.
for that shit.
Huh?
Not for that shit.
Yep, exactly. All right, so of course, I am Shoky. You can follow me at all the Shoky and Shoky review related things. I'll link all down below. And shout out to any of the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense people who come over here and listen, because I'm pretty sure none of the Shoky reviews people ever come over here and listen to it. And of course, we do have Mike, the Comic Relief Crusader.
Hello, true believers.
I don't know why you said true believers. My brain went dumb and said two believers. It's like
Just the two of us. We're the only ones that believe. Like,
it's a lever that moves tubas. Either way,
There you go.
you can check him out at all the things down below as well, whether that's his YouTube or his Facebook, and of course at Freelance Graphics with a K. Go buy some
You
merch.
decide where the K goes.
Thank you. That's the first time you said that. That's the first time you said it.
I try to be serendipitous there. You know, so
Yes, I left it open to see if you would take the bait, and you did. Good job.
I did.
So, and of course, if you want to support this channel, you can buy the merch. Link is down below the show notes. And some of you people out there do have some of our merch. And Ricky and I have been talking about adding in at least one new shirt that he came up with last week. And I had designed one in my brain yesterday. So I have to actually draw it out.
so it's pretty much a blank slate. Ha ha ha.
Wah, wah, wah.
Either way.
Wah.
And then there's Ricky. He does things. Mostly just does stuff for Nerd Rage. He makes videos. Just go watch them. They're linked down below.
Oh man. Oh yeah. Oh, check out all of mine and Mike's 5,000 things. And Ricky goes there.
Such a plug.
have more stuff, Ricky. And actually, even though I don't promo it, we do still have ShaunDiesel's body shop linked in the thing down below as well. So if you want to go ahead and cut in front of Ricky about his stupid painted Soundwave, please hit up Sean.
It'll never happen. Y'all hear all that anger in Shoky's voice? He's mad that I'm getting a painted Soundwave.
No, I'm mad that Sean's going against his word to
Step
never
up,
paint
Ricky.
another
Come
thing.
on, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, we do have comments.
It's not who you know, Shoky. It's who you blow, buddy. You got to know how to work that.
I don't know who you're blowing in Florida to get Sean to get you to do anything, but okay.
He's Sean. I travel and blow. It's all about the double-handed whirly bird and the tickle.
See, what you guys don't know is that Ricky travels on his knees. Okay.
That's it. Saves on gas.
I'm going to go back to last week's episodes and read some comments real quick.
Oh, yay.
Yay. All right, so...
before you even start, did anybody white knight for me?
We'll find out. So...
No, it's a yes or no question.
Well, you're supposed to find out as I read the comments, Ricky.
No, because if nobody white knighted for me, I can just, like, let my mind wander and ignore all the bullshit.
You're going to do that. You're doing that anyways.
Solid maybe.
It's a solid maybe.
Are you guys talking? Have we started recording yet?
Yes, a long time ago.
All
right, so anyways, on Mike versus the Geeko System, which I did have to fix the name. I actually had it, I didn't have it as Geeko System. I had it as Geeko Sphere the first time. Jason Collier said, thanks for the shout out. And then Mike accused me of never thanking anyone, even though I'm the one who said it in the first place. And then we got Will saying, okay, Ricky, here's your Mike / Moon Knight / White Knight moment.
Fuck yes.
I.e., a take I don't agree with, but will still defend. I hope my comment will be the first one you see explaining why you're right. He didn't, because he still never looks at the fucking comments. When it comes to anime, whatever the other two chuckle fucks say, SAO is garbage. That's Sword Art Online. It tanks hard about halfway through the first season, the fairy dance arc. Go off of what you already watched and enjoyed and explore from there. I've watched anime since I was a kid. There is always another show, and it's okay to jump ship on a show if you don't like it. Better to ditch than have a miserable time watching a show just because someone recommended it. However, I did have to correct him and say that you can't just ditch a show because, generally speaking, your OCD won't allow you to do that.
Well, you can't. I mean, you can't correct him. He can still tell me to try, but Shoky is right. My OCD won't. I will grind to the end of that shit, and then I'll bitch about it for a year.
Yeah, I referenced Halo directly.
No way are Ricky and I chuckle fucks.
He was referring to you and me.
Shoky. That's right.
Oh, okay, well.
Don't you lump me in with your chuckling fucking.
You're part of this team. There's no I in team.
It's chuckle fuckery.
It's in the a-hole, and I will draw you all a picture to explain that to you because it's fucking hilarious.
Shoky will be chuckle fuck prime, and I'll designate myself as Chuckle Fuck 2.
I think you're. Wouldn't you be Star Chuckle Fuck?
You're Chuckle Fuck Beta.
Either way, it's still number 2. So.
Yep, and who does number 2 work for?
No one. Either way.
Myself.
Dark is evil. All y'all guys suck.
This comment thread continued, by the way.
Okay, cool. I like Will already. Keep going.
Yes. So Mike wrote back and said, Will, SAO wasn't that bad. Well, I can only speak for the first 2 seasons. So, and then Will says, let me edit myself a bit. I think the Ironclad and GGO, that's Gun Gale Online, arcs are worth watching, but everything else tries way too hard to replicate what made those 2 work. I always forget how to say this word, Alicization would be good. I think that's a 3rd season, if I remember correctly. While it had its moments, it was a whole sacrificing character. But either way, I'm not going to continue that just because spoilers. And basically, he's just saying main character syndrome is really what he's getting at. And then the rest of that.
I've tried getting into the 3rd season.
It gets weird.
It's kind of slow.
It is
ish. Yeah,
and it focuses on what's her face mostly. But the thing is with the 3rd season is that while it is very much underrated comparatively, it is pushing the story forward and has an incredibly moving and sad and heartfelt ending to it. So, I mean, it is still good, but I get why it's hard to watch. I'm not even going to defend
Time out for 1 second, y'all.
Yeah.
The viewers are not going to be able to see this, but I'm explaining I'm going to show it to you guys.
Okay.
See? It's the I in team.
Oh,
it's
God.
in the a-hole.
Oh,
Yeah,
You
but
see
if
that?
if you had drawn a blocky A instead of a pointy A, you'd be 100% correct. You're just like
No,
90.
Shoky.
You're
Shoky. Look right here.
95% correct.
Shoky, it's right here. You see it?
See, there's a reason that Mike and I do the artwork
on.
and
That
you
is-
don't.
that is
Dude.
no font that I can discernibly attain
And
any kind of resemblance of an eye.
Did I ever claim? Did anybody listen to this pod hear me go, "Hey, look at my fucking Rembrandt drawing over here"? I just said, "Look, so you can see." You
That
get the
is
general
no
idea.
font I can discern.
Look right here, right here,
Okay.
Shoky. Do
I
you see
will
it?
I
right
can't
here?
see it. I
and
turned the camera off.
creativity.
Sorry.
Do you see it right here?
No, I'm lost in thought over here, trying to read fucking comments.
All right, back
And
to your
by
comments.
by the
Back
way,
to Will.
it doesn't
Okay.
Back to Will, who I like.
it doesn't even need to be an I in team. There's already an M and an E. So
Yeah, but that's just out of
We're
order.
talking about
Lame.
phonetics and spelling.
yes. So okay, that was it for the that section there. There, you
Well,
got
I
your
appreciate you for
slight
trying,
white knighting.
man.
You tried to white
I
knight you.
appreciate you for trying. I appreciate you trying, man.
Yep. And on the bonus episode, Gundam, but with more Ricky, I was slightly corrected. I got the year wrong in the original Gundam. Original Gundam takes place in 0079. Stardust Memory takes place in 0083. That was my bad. But everything
Shoky
else-
got it wrong. He's
Yeah.
a piece of shit.
that's because I get
Yeah.
I get those two. Dude, like a lot of that shit is like not even full series. Some of it is movies, but also there's a thing called the 1 Year War that actually I think takes 3 years. It's
Kind of like the 100 Years War
Yeah,
that
ex-
didn't really.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, it's 40 years of Gundam anime to go through, right? It's a lot of
Do you-
history.
well,
Do you even Gundam, bro?
Yeah, I do, but I don't at the same time. Well, so the
I
funny
have
what this
Gundam.
yeah, so what this actually led me to do is actually googling the actual UC timeline, like see if someone actually had it like drawn out, and I found a
Oh,
few
you know
good
somebody
examples.
does.
Oh, yeah, there were
Oh, of
plenty,
course.
but actually finding one that put the actual years, not just the shows. Like they put the show titles and where they go, but they
Yeah.
wouldn't put the year associated within. You know, so the Universal
So
Century.
they made a timeline without numbers, which doesn't even make fucking sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they put the release date, but not, which doesn't make sense in this timeline because it's supposed to be the order things happened in the UC.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they didn't put the actual date. But I found one that did.
Good job, assholes.
Yeah. The only thing that it excluded was the most recent stuff. So clearly it was only from a couple years ago.
Man.
But either way, I mean, whoop-de-doo, you missed the one that happened in 0097. Oh no.
Hey, it's incomplete.
I know it's incomplete, but they got everything else.
Don't play down how wrong you were in that conversation, Shoky. It is important to realize just how completely and utterly wrong you were.
Yeah, I got 1 year wrong.
In fact, let's dwell on that for a moment. Let's
No.
take a moment of silence for how wrong Shoky was.
No, we're good.
You
We
chuckle fucks.
don't need a moment of silence for that. There were.
That's my new thing too, Will. I love you for bringing that out. I'm gonna call them chuckle fucks constantly.
Why do you attribute every comment to Will?
Because you said Will was white knighting me. And
Oh,
he called
okay.
you
That
chuckle fuck.
what you meant. Okay, sorry. I thought you meant the
yeah.
comment we
See,
just
so go
had.
fuck yourself, chuckle fuck. Don't correct me. You've already been wrong once. You want to be wrong again?
I'm wrong all the time. The only
I
difference
know
is
because you
that
were wrong about the beaver.
most
thing,
people
too,
don't
so that's
yell at
true.
me about it in the comments. I'm actually not
Chuckle
going
fuck.
to read this one, but if people want to go read it, they can.
Oh no!
Because I
This
don't
is
want
not-
to continue
this is
this
not
fight.
Mother-
Yes,
This is
let
not
us
Mother
go
Russia.
through the comment.
This is not Mother Russia. You read it. You don't censor. No, sir.
No, I will censor this because I don't want the fight to continue, so I'm not
It doesn't
going
have to be a
to.
censor. You just read it and then we move along.
Yeah, that's the problem is that we don't tend to move along.
Mike, promise to be on your best behavior and we're gonna move along. He's just gonna read it.
I am generally almost always on my best behavior because I'm Canadian.
I will
We're-
say
we're-
that the reply to this comment still does not show on YouTube. So
Really? Because I got it
YouTube
right
doesn't
here.
believe you were on your best behavior, Mike.
Well,
So Mike,
I got
Mike,
a
you have to promise
screenshot.
behavior
It's
still.
fine.
Hold on.
Hey Mike, during your week, read it.
No,
He can't censor you.
I can because I'm editing. We're
We'll
not
just
live
randomly
here.
repeat it throughout the show so that you have to edit the fuck out of this show. You
Okay.
do not censor
We
us,
can do
sir.
that, but I just didn't want to continue the fight. But fine, even if I
There's
feel
no
like
fight.
there's fights. Anyways, so this was on the "Don't be an asshole." Actually, I'm going to start at the top of the comments here because
You can leave the names out if you want to, so that way it's not a thing.
It doesn't matter because people want to read the comment. They can. It's not. It's like the person's name isn't gone because of it. All right, so either way, Jason Collier once again replying. He said the world is becoming a more confusing place. I think we could probably all agree on that. It's definitely a more confusing place. Okay, Sean, or rather Chevelle 4x4, because it's just his old ass name on YouTube, says I like chocolate cake.
Comment?
Huh?
No.
What?
Who doesn't
Read
like
the
it?
comment.
I'm going to. I'm reading all the other ones that were above it. I'm going down the list. There's literally a list.
Oh, you're working backwards. Got it.
Yeah.
Sean does love chocolate cake. Y'all don't know this.
Oh, he does.
His profile picture is fake, but he's actually a big fat ass who just fucking sizes himself in chocolate cake and does not believe in exercising or keeping healthy.
I'm so glad I didn't take a drink right then. I nearly did. I nearly took a drink right then. All right,
Sean, you big fat fatty rubbing chocolate frosting on your nipples.
Dude, he's gonna fucking cut calories even worse today now.
I know it's gonna be worse, dude. He's gonna be like, I'm starving myself because of Ricky. I'm just drinking water and working out excessive.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, this goes out from all of us. It is actually okay to go ahead and buy that ice cream that you stare at and drool.
No, it's not okay. It's not okay to buy that pizza flavored ice cream. That's
okay. No, not
disgusting.
that was a bad plan.
That just sounds interesting.
If someone else buys it, I'll try it. I will try it, but I'm not going to pay money for it.
I wouldn't try it with your mouth and Mike's intestines attached at the other end. That just sounds fucking disgusting.
So we're doing a human centipede thing?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll eat the pizza. Mike will... Never mind. Moving on to the bigger comment about that whole conversation here. And I'm just going to read it.
Mike, behave yourself.
I always behave myself. What are you talking about?
Behave yourself more.
Yeah.
Okay. NGL.
Be more like Ricky, Mike, and that's a fucked up thing to have to say into this world.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I have standards.
I guess I'm trying to read a fucking comment.
When I'm the bar you're shooting for, like, it's best is because we bothered him about reading it and made him promise to read it. And
let's read the comment.
No, I'm good. I'm skipping it. We're done. We're done for the week. Thanks, guys, for all your comments.
Look, you're gonna make Ricky go look up the comment and read it.
You did well. It's in the chat. Either way.
Yep.
Okay. So from Will, with love.
I want you to read it like if he was saying it though. Like
I don't know what Will sounds like, so I don't know that I can do that. So he says, "Not gonna lie, this is an infuriating conversation to listen to. I'm not gonna mince words, Mike. You're a transphobic a-hole." And a hypocrite if you think it's disrespectful to refer to another person by their preferred pronouns. Sex is biology, gender is not, and to equate them as such is a reason for someone to get mad at you because you think so archaically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dispute one part of what he just said.
Okay.
Sexual orientation is not biology. That is something that we can make a choice.
No, he's not saying saying orientation. He's just separating sex and gender. That's all that is.
Gender is biology. It's an XX chromosome or XY chromosome. So again, I see where he's coming from, and you heard my whole talk about it last time. So I'm not in disagreement. I'm just saying you're presenting it wrong. If you're making an argument towards something, you have to make sure you don't leave loopholes, because if you do, then your argument becomes invalid, because most people will go, I'll listen to the whole paragraph you just said and go, well, you're wrong about that. Therefore, everything else you just said was wrong too.
Yeah.
Gender definitely is biology.
So
it definitely is.
To which I replied.
Yes. Hold on. Don't reply.
He's not finished because this thing was long.
No, well, that was the end of that. But what I don't want to do is actually attack anyone back for their opinion.
No.
So if YouTube literally won't allow that comment to be posted, and that's not me, I can't see it on the back end. It's registering as your reply being there, but YouTube has literally censored your comment, so I can't let you say it out loud because that's going to make it worse.
The same values as this particular person does not make me transphobic or an a-hole or a hypocrite whatsoever.
Well, I will say you're definitely an asshole
for a whole other list of reasons, but this ain't one of them.
Yeah,
no, I know.
You're just an asshole.
But I mean, sex has always been referred to the biology of an individual, so that's science.
Well, I'm not going to go deeper into the topic at the moment.
I'm not being archaical whatsoever. If it's worked for thousands of years, it ain't broke.
That's literally admitting to be archaic, though.
Yeah, I will read one more comment, and that's my comment that I had to pin on here. because I didn't.
Oh, sure, he doesn't edit his comments, guys. Y'all see this bullshit?
Well, there's a different thing. So usually I put a disclaimer at the beginning of videos. This time it did not. So this is my disclaimer. Okay, as I am greatly aware, this is a very divisive topic. Even amongst the three of us, we aren't exactly on the same page. We may all agree on some things, but we also have our own lines that we draw on for ourselves based on our beliefs and our experiences, just like you guys out there listening. It's hard to even want to talk about this subject because of its hefty nature in today's society, but just avoiding sensitive discussions and or shutting down people you have different opinion than is not how you move forward in life. Mike feels how he feels, I feel how I feel, and the same for Ricky. We're just people. We don't have to agree, you don't have to agree with us, and vice versa.
Correct. That's
all.
all.
But since you're in agreement with me, that makes me more right than these two chuckle fucks.
Who's in agreement with you?
The guy commenting.
That was me.
No, not your disclaimer, dickhole. The original comment.
There are no disclaimers. Either way, so that's it.
I just wanted to call y'all chuckle fucks again. That's my new thing. I love it.
I hate it. Anyways, so guys, while you can comment on the YouTube videos, you can also just go ahead and email us questions and comments and stuff like that at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com, which is in the description down below, right below the merch store. I need to find a way to... Mike, do you know, since you've done web design and stuff like this, is there a way to just take just that text and make it a link directly to your email? Like, you know what I mean? Like you click on it, it'll open your email and put it in the thing.
I can look into that for you.
Yeah, because I feel like that would be a lot easier than just copy and paste like most people would do. But like I looked into it, I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
it's not a website, you know. It's not it's not a proper HTML link or whatever, so I don't know how to make that happen. But if there's a way to do it, I will do that for everybody.
You know what? I've done it in Word, and then it easily transfers over to, you know, where you put it in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll figure that out. We'll figure that part out.
Okay.
So either way, guys, I haven't pooped in a long time, so I don't know between the two of you guys who's going to go first today on our weeks.
I'm not going by the shit of the last thing. That's dumb.
No, it's actually fun. But either way, actually, Ricky's going to go last because he's got the most to tell. So I'm going to let Mike go first about his week.
He assumes I have to say.
No, just not a lot really to tell. Just trying to get money together for rent coming up because of what the government felt it had to do to me. So the last week has been kind of highly stressful.
Yeah.
To kind of make up for it, there's this guy on YouTube that goes by the name of Pope Metallicus the First that wanted a commission done, so I'm almost done that. It's it's quite funny.
Oh, that's that Avatar thing you showed us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I remember this.
The dude with the flying V guitar, you know, with the Pope hat. Yeah.
The guitar should have been Pope hat shaped.
Well, I mean, there are so many different kinds of Pope hats.
That's true, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had to pick one, and, you know, that one just kind of stood out.
It'd be like the flying pape.
Yeah.
Guitar.
So, and I figured use that hat in conjunction with the flying V guitar that he has.
Now,
it kind of made sense.
Isn't that sort of borderline with the band Ghost? In a way.
Maybe.
Like, I mean, that's kind of, in a way, their shtick.
I don't remember Patrick Swayze having flying V in that movie.
Because that's not the band Ghost. That's the movie Ghost.
Yeah.
Also, that movie is still terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm almost done that, which is great. I was also asked to make a logo for a upcoming comic book series that hopefully should be released on I believe it's Indiegogo probably soon.
Is this the one you were talking about before where there are novels and they're doing comic book versions of them?
No, actually this is a different one. So
different one. Okay.
Yeah, it's titled Kakashi, which in Japanese means scarecrow.
Yep.
So apparently the whole premise of the book is these And this is, I'm just putting this loose because I just got a very brief description, something about, in the future,
Before
these
you put it out there, are you allowed to put it out
biomechanical
there?
scarecrows that are, created to drive away mutants to protect the last farmlands on Earth or something like that.
So they're
So,
sentinels.
yeah, I suppose you can kind of call them that way. Anyway, it has a manga tone to it, in its art style and whatnot. So, but he asked if I could create a logo for him. So I'm probably pretty much done that.
Huh.
So
That's awesome, man. It's good to hear you getting the work. That's good.
yeah, I just got to wait for pay is the big thing. So,
by the way,
Hey, fuck Dick, send him money.
yes, I was about to actually say we will link to your GoFundMe. Was it a GoFundMe link?
yeah, it's GoFundMe.
Yeah, so seriously, guys, though, like, Mike really could use a little bit of help just to get by, as he very gingerly described that he's being fucked over a little bit by the Canadian government, and his steady work is still not a thing where he's at, so he does need a little bit of help if you can do so. The link will be in the description down below as well. It'll be the top link down below.
If you donate $100 US, you get a free version of the shirt that I'm having SHOKY draw up.
I literally have no way to guarantee that, so
I do, because I'll buy the shirt and send it to him.
Okay,
that's cool. No, I mean, any help would be appreciated. I see, that's the thing. I don't like doing this, but as a friend pointed out to me, there's nothing wrong with asking for help because see, I've always been, and I don't mean to drone on about this. I really honestly don't, because personally I don't like to. I've always been the breadwinner of the family. I've always been working.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've always brought in the bucks. That paid for rent, paid for bills, paid for food, paid for this, paid for that. And then to all of a sudden have everything taken away from you, it's basically a sense of pride kind of thing, And then you get this preconceived notion in your head that people will look at you as some sort of failure or incompetent or, or being lazy or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not that. And I don't, it's the thoughts that go in through your head, basically.
Yeah.
But
we've all been there, man. We've all had times of struggle. Like, I mean, I literally had to move back in with my parents and had to sign over my apartment and basically could only keep my car because work screwed me over. I went to literally a fifth of my pay in a month.
Yeah.
And so, like, I had to give up everything and do it, and I had to basically live with them again for at least, I think, how long was I there? I think another year or so before another situation came up that I could get back on my feet to a degree. I mean, it happens. I mean, like, this world is still pretty fucked from the last 2 years of COVID.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people who have not gotten on their feet either. So, I mean, like, if anyone can help, I'm currently on, it's like, I was like, I just played catch up, so I can't help much at all, and like I said, our rent is also about to go up too.
And
so
I don't want to put you in that kind of spot.
No. I'm just saying, like, it's like, I know what it's like, because at the moment, technically speaking, my wife is the breadwinner here because she pays one bill. I pay everything else, but she can only manage that because of where her income lies. We roughly make the same amount of money, but because she has significantly less expenses, or in the number of them, but not the cost, we have to balance that. And sometimes we don't always get that situation, but that's how we make it work. Sometimes she'll be short and I'll have to cover something, or vice versa, or with grocery costs going through the damn roof.
Yeah.
We're feeling the squeeze on that, and now with our rent going up significantly, we're feeling the squeeze there. And with work jacking around with my money recently, it's hard to. There's those days where it just hits you like, fuck, I can't support things the way I used to.
No, I know. Like last week, I literally had $100 left, and this one company that I worked with, they're all the way in Calgary, right? And Calgary, where I live, is about a good 40 minutes away, right?
Okay.
And they called me and it's like, hey, we do need some people at this one construction site. Can you be there tomorrow? It is ongoing. And the first reaction is like, yes, right? I do want to work. But then early last week, I put in $50 for gas and it only gave me a quarter of a tank, right?
Ugh.
Of gas. And now kind of follow me on the math kind of thing.
Oh,
right?
no, I get you. I knew where you were going.
You would have to wait 2 weeks for a paycheck. And that $100 would only give me 2 trips.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to go to work anymore.
Yeah,
and then on top of that,
even get to work.
with family needing, say, like, toilet paper or, or water or, food, you're going to be totally out. So, you're in a catch-22.
The only way you can make it work is if you could get a ride, realistically.
Yeah. And not everybody, leaves at the same time or even goes to the same location in the city. So, and yeah. So
just
what do you
get
do?
An electric car, Mike.
Oh yeah.
That'll solve all the problems. Just get an electric car.
You ride a polar bear.
Yeah, exactly. So
Ricky, there's no polar bears in Canada.
That's not true. Mike, tell me he's wrong.
He's wrong.
I know.
You're wrong, Shoky. I'm sorry.
They're in the Arctic Circle, but they're not in Canada.
That's North Canada, you dickhead.
That's right, in northern Canada, especially around northern Manitoba.
Next, you're going to tell me there's penguins in Canada.
No, there is no penguins whatsoever in Canada.
Except in the zoos.
In the Arctic.
Except in the zoos.
Antarctic. Anyway.
I know that. I was just proving the point.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, not trying to sound, I'm honestly really not trying to sound like a sob story here, right? But yeah, it's hard when your livelihood has essentially been taken away and, and raped. And then you get told by the government, oh, hey, guess what? Because you got CERB payments, we're taking away the, your whole income tax return. Plus on top of that, you owe us $500. So we're going to take the last of your employment insurance, your unemployment insurance. And, thank you,
Thank you. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Here's a bottle of maple syrup. Thanks from Canada.
I will say the same thing happened here with Miss Shoky. She had to pay this year for the first time ever because she got those quote unquote tax breaks last year, and there was a warning that it could happen.
Breaks.
That's why I put it in quote unquotes.
But it was never called a tax break.
I know, but that's what they applied them as sometimes.
That's how they presented
because
it.
some people did get
they
that.
Flat out told you you're getting fronted off of your next year's income tax. They never tried to tell you it was a break.
But once again, as we
That's
discussed,
how people assumed it to be.
By the way, I'm getting a fuck ton of echo on Ricky.
No,
it's got to be coming out of you. Mike.
Anyway, here they said no, nobody will have to pay it back because work is just off for the past 2 years. Nobody will have to pay it back.
Exactly.
But if you're not working and you have no income, you're forced to get it, right? And so that was done. Anyway, so because I don't want to constantly be talking doom and gloom here.
That's what the news is for.
Yeah, precisely.
Yep.
What else has been going on? I don't know. There's a guy that very generously said, oh, here's a fan's toy skull cruncher, pay me back whenever you can. So that's in the mail. So not that I'm really thinking about figures right now.
Yeah,
so,
priorities at this point, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm really not thinking about figures right now.
Unless you sell it.
What else?
Turn around and sell it and then pay him back later.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to get by, right?
As for TVs and movies, you know what? I caught that Chippendale movie over the weekend.
I want to watch that so bad.
That is good. That was really good.
I said it was.
It almost was fun. It almost had a feel of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of
Yep.
sequel. It almost had that kind of feel.
I would argue that it 100% is a sequel.
Yeah,
But
you can even look at it that way.
Don't give it away because
No.
I've been waiting until I get
No, not giving it away. I'm
there's-
just telling you how it felt, right?
Yeah.
So, I thought it was going to be like, okay, whatever. But you know what? It was nice. It was nice. It was really nice.
If it was an actual Rescue Rangers movie, then it would not have been good. But because it was framed, no pun intended, as a Who Framed Roger Rabbit type of movie, then it completely worked. It 100% worked. And I want to do a review of it and talk about the potentiality of it being a at least a spiritual successor, if not a direct sequel, because a lot of people said, what if it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2? And I'm like, yes, that would make sense if it was around Roger Rabbit, but it's not. But it's around the Rescue Rangers.
So I was quite surprised to see all these cameos here and there, left, right, and center,
all over
Hasbro cameos. And because now that Disney owns Fox,
they own everything.
They own a lot.
You're seeing a lot of other cameos that you normally wouldn't see, right?
Yeah, there's a lot in there that they did pay out the ass to get.
Oh yeah,
even though
and you know what? I was almost expecting some Warner Brother characters to be kind of dumped in there as well.
There was
right?
one.
I thought, God, it looks like they're going all out on cameos with like other licenses.
There was one reference to Warner Brothers.
Yes,
one. I think what they do now, like when they do these cameos and little like Easter eggs and stuff, is they're like drop them in there so that in the boardroom they can be like, "You see us, WB, we're coming for you, motherfuckers. We're putting your shit in our movies. You're next."
I have a feeling with this, it was because it was a very dated reference. I'm not sure where the rights technically fell to this, but you'll see it when you watch the movie. But like when he means like there are characters, whether they're official characters or referential characters, all over this thing. And like the craziest one, the one that literally made me like drop my jaw.
Yeah.
And tiny spoilers.
Get over it. Go past it.
Yeah, tiny spoilers. So you think this is just animated characters? Nope.
Yeah.
Any type of quote unquote child entertainment character is in this. When you actually had a claymation character talking to a sock puppet.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, literally like, okay, so we have like so many we got a CG character, we have a claymation character, we have an actual sock puppet, and a normal animated character on screen at the same time talking to each other with a human nearby. I'm like, that broke my fucking brain. I'm like,
wow, they just covered everything animation type of genre there.
And the storyline, the actual plot of the movie completely makes sense in modern day. Without saying what it is, obviously, I want people to watch this movie, and considering it's quote unquote free on Disney Plus, go watch it. You got no reason not to, especially if you were an 80s kid.
It was really good.
If you're an 80s kid,
I was expecting some sort of the message snuck in here and there, but
nope.
You know what? It's a good movie. Just turn off your brain and just enjoy it for what it is.
Well, your brain's going to be broken.
Because you talked about it being on Disney Plus. While we were talking, I just got a notification. Paramount Plus just picked up Sonic 2 now, so it's over there now to watch.
That means I'll never get to watch it.
Ugly.
Get Paramount Plus.
No, I already have too many.
So cancel one and get that one.
It's the only one I can cancel is HBO.
Yeah, and then last week finished off Halo. And not bad.
Do you feel
not
finished
bad,
off?
But
it's shit.
But again, it's the old bait and switch right at the end. So
it's a big old steaming hot pile of shit.
It's a steaming hot pile of
telling Cortana, you got to take over. You got to take my body.
I hate it.
Oh, you can win this.
I hate it so much.
And
hate it so much.
So here we go again. It's the old Hollywood bait and switch where there's no way a man can stop the evil or rescue the girl at the end or this or that. No, let's take over. And yes, I know that Cortana is not a full-fledged woman and only an AI, but you fill in the rest, right? It's another bait and switch. To get you all hyped up for the end, and then boom, no, only a woman can do it.
So, picture Jurassic Park with the big giant pile of Triceratops shit. That's that show, but with Sunday chocolate syrup made out of diarrhea dumped on top.
Yeah,
it's fucking that
definitely could have gone without that image. Thanks.
In my wife's defense, she actually
watch
did
the show and tell me I'm wrong.
But then again, she's not into, games or Halo or anything like that. So she kind of did like it. She actually wants to see season 2. I'm rather interested to see how it's going to go in season 2.
Just don't do it.
Because only Master Chief, has
Mike,
to be,
I got one word. Mike, I got one word. I got one word for you, Mike. Picard. Don't do it. You should not have watched Picard season 2. Don't watch season 3. And don't watch Halo season 2. You're just going to hate it.
Here's my deal. Season 2, I'll wait until it's completely done and over with, and then I'll just try to binge watch it, and I'll get as far as I can into it, and then stop if I have to.
I'm taking Will's advice and actually just not watching it at all.
Yeah.
I'm just...
I gave it episode 1.
This, like you just said about your wife, if they're not into the Halo franchise or Halo lore, people are enjoying this show. If you are into Halo at all, even peripherally, you're not going to enjoy this show.
Yeah.
This is the Moon Knight problem.
No, it's not.
Precisely. No, it is.
Well, it is, but in a very specific way, because at least with Moon Knight, there's God knows how many comic runs over the decades to draw from. With Halo, you basically have one, maybe 1.5 sources. But it's basically, and then just basically like, here's canon. We'll sort of think about it.
1.5 sources?
I'm considering the books as like in the same timeline, but can kind of.
I have 20 of the books, so it's not 1.5 sources.
No, but I mean, it's all the same canon. It's not broke off.
It's all part of one long storyline, including the
game. Yeah, it's not different it's not different universes. That's what I was getting at.
I got you.
So they did Michael Bay it. They Michael Bayed it with the fucking Transformers. They just said, Transformers are kind of things.
I still like this better than Transformers movies.
I know, but I'm saying referentially, like, hey, look, this is Optimus Prime. And then they sort of just kind of dart their eyes back and forth. As long as we say it's Optimus Prime, they'll believe it. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Master Chief, except when it's not Master Chief.
Yeah.
This is going to lead to the Halo, but
pacing,
it's not.
The pacing overall, I thought was pretty well done. And I mean, like I said, I'm not heavy into it like you guys are because the whole history, right? So I'm just giving. My interpretation of it, having only played the game, like the very first game, and that was it, right? So I'm just giving my point of view
peripherally, I would count you as a peripheral fan. You don't enjoy
you can
it.
say that. So story-wise, the pacing was fairly good.
Yeah.
It was, was fairly good, the way it was written out and whatnot, right? So, how one situation... I would say, in a sense, kind of organically just slips into another and how everything is interconnected. It was pretty well done.
I know,
right?
Chief slipped his storyline in somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Some of the effects
Sorry.
in a few of the episodes here and there.
That was a so to speak moment.
I knew what you were doing.
I know.
Was kind of goofy at times. Let's put it that way.
I was adding chlorine to my pool, so I couldn't hit you with the so to speak fast enough.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
But
he's doing pool
but it's the bait and switch at the end that's like, of course,
There is an actual bait and switch, though. There is one.
At the end, yes.
Yes. I mean, in the show. Okay, so I will say this, because I've been watching reviews of the show, because I don't really want to watch the show. The actual bait and switch within the show, the fake out moment within the show, I think would have served better for the fans if they had done something a little bit different with that particular character in such a way as maybe, oh, look, this is the real version of that character, and the one we've been talking to all this time was not. And then, oh, look, all of a sudden, now it looks like the character it's supposed to be. Then I probably would have been a little bit, that would make a little bit more sense. And they gave an out to themselves. No, never mind. We already got this actress on the line for the next 4.5 seasons until we get utterly canceled.
Yeah.
So either way, but
it's like all the progress that Master Chief makes throughout the entire season, like a whole 9 episodes, right? Of really discovering who he is and stuff like that, and finding out the whole
just doesn't fucking matter.
The whole basic conspiracy about how you took me away as a kid.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna tear all of that away from you because fuck you. It's going to be Cortana that saves the day. So, yeah, it's.
I mean, if you didn't see that coming from the get-go, as soon as they said she had
I kind of expected
on and
something.
off,
I expected
I knew
something.
something was going to happen. I figured they're going to team up like the Wonder Twins or something and fuck shit up. So
Fusion, like Dragon Ball. Now,
I mean,
if his armor changed,
Water.
if his armor like started glowing or something to like signify
like
it,
God armor.
yeah, like suddenly God armor happens, or like
quick, let's no clip, you know.
Yeah, no, it'd be cool as if Cortana suddenly like had Spartan armor, and like you literally have a hologram running around killing people.
No. Now you're turning into the changing too much.
It's fan fiction, Ricky. We can do whatever we want here.
You spank your monkey to whatever you want to. That is not my Halo.
It's
okay,
no one's Halo.
I think
That's enough of Halo
that's
talk, though.
pretty much it for the week, really.
Cool.
You know, just trying to do commissions, trying to get work that way.
Donate to Mike.
Yeah, watch Chippendales. That was good. Halo.
Donate to Chippendales.
Yeah, Chippendales.
Oh, by the way, hold on. I will say this. There is a subtle reference that happens.
Yeah.
And if you're paying attention, you'll catch it, and it has to do with the live show that Dale says he's doing at the beginning of the movie. So, yeah. There's a subtle reference there if you're actually paying attention, but it's not super subtle, but it's subtle. Either way. Yeah. All right. So my go. Is it my go? Mike,
you may go.
Can I go now, Mike?
Because right now I can't think of anything else.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it'll come to you. It's fine.
Probably.
You can interrupt Ricky. All right.
Sure.
So I did get a couple things in. Yeah. So I got a couple things in. Oh, I forgot one thing that I got in. I didn't have to make a note of it. I did get the New Age Mirage and Cyclonus.
Nice.
Pretty cool, but they made Cyclonus gigantic, and they just said, we'll just make scale whatever particular episode we want it to be out of the series. Because now he towers over Galvatron, but in a lot of it, even Mike's own scale chart, buy at freelancegraphics.com, it has Cyclonus and Galvatron at the same height. So he is huge. He's like taller than Ultra Magnus, so it's kind of crazy.
That's not right.
Yeah, definitely not right. Also, I did get Hasbro has been releasing the Ninja Rangers, so the ones where they're actually in like the ninja outfits from that particular season and or the first movie. So far, I've only managed to get the White Ranger. The other ones have not been released locally, so the white, pink, blue, and black were all released simultaneously, but not simultaneously. So I'm going to have to keep an eye out for that. So check your targets if you didn't pre-order them already. So I have to go back and check mine, see if it hasn't. So that's basically, I think that's all I got. No, that's the thing I was forgetting. I did get a box in from Premium Bandai. It does contain a model kit, and I can't say what it is because it is connected to an event from the SHOKY channel from later in the year. So I can't spoil that. But of course, if you're paying attention to P Bandai releases, you'll know what it is. Let's see here. Did watch Rescue Rangers, because I knew it was coming. I wanted to watch it, and then I remembered that it was out on Disney Plus. I was actually about to ask the wife if she wanted to go to the theater, because it did come out in theaters too, which was funny. But didn't have to do that. I watched it first, and then I watched it again with her. Being able to watch it again and look for even more references and catch little things was like completely worth it. Like there's several things I caught on the second go that I missed the first time. Other than that, only really been watching Ozark, and we finished season 2, and we're like I think a third of the way through season 3. Jesus Christ, man, I can't handle this show. The anxiety of every fucking episode, especially season 2. Season 2, so many people die. I can't, and like almost none of them are expected, and it's crazy. I just can't.
So is it like Game of Thrones where your favorite character dies and then all of a sudden,
No, it's not. It's not that bad, but it is definitely. Most of the deaths are shocking. Most of them. Some of them are like, well, yeah, it's like, but like, the hard part is actually having a favorite character.
Right.
I think my favorite character out of all of them is Ruth. You know, and Ricky probably know who I'm talking about. Oh, Ricky's muted. Never mind. I was wondering why he was being quiet. So Ricky's doing something. It's fine. Either way, so I think Ruth is my
take advantage of it.
Yeah, Ricky's. Yeah, that chuckle fuck over there with Ricky. So either way, like every single time it seems like our main characters are about to get out of the last mess, a new mess happens, and
God.
The show is
meanwhile in the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like it is meant to be that way. Is like literally you never. I think the
First off, you chuckle fucks. I heard everything y'all were saying.
Well, I figured you would.
Secondly,
we already knew you knew what we were saying.
Is not acceptable even in Canada, Mike. Thirdly, look at the screen. Look at the screen.
You're not doing anything. Oh, he got his mic. Cool, nice. Plug it in.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pause here in a minute so you can help me get it set up real quick, and we'll come back.
It's literally plug and play. Oh, so yeah. So Ricky just got in to spoil Ricky's week now. Ricky just got the same mic. Shit.
And by the way, it is Team Ruth. Ruth is the best in that show.
Ruth is the best. And it was nice to finally see her get her some finally.
What did y'all keep telling me with the anime? Just keep watching.
Just keep watching. No, that's fine. No, we can't not watch it. We watch it every night. I've like not been doing like I've needed to do reviews, and like I was gonna say, okay, after dinner I'm gonna do reviews, and then it's like, no, we're gonna turn on Ozark because the hard part is they're like hour to an hour and 20 episodes, so it's like when.
And I think you've actually officially passed me now too.
Yeah, probably. We're in season 3. We're in season 3 now.
You know what?
Sure.
And the wife and I, we did that with Halo too, right? We completed all 9 episodes like within pretty much 3 days. Watching maybe 2 or 3 episodes like a day.
Yeah. There is something nice about knowing the series is complete.
Yeah.
So that you can just keep going with it, like and you know it's going to end at some point.
Yeah.
And I will say the sets have gotten nicer. Like they got more money as it goes on. So like the casino set looks really badass. I love the fact in one of the last episodes we saw, because we watched 2 last night. I think it was the last episode we watched. Actually called out the very specific problem with their house, that it is like 90% glass, all facing one direction. So if anybody wanted to just fucking attack their house, there's no single room they could hide in. It's a really cool lake house. It makes sense, you know, the part that faces the water you want to have all glass so you can look out at any given point. But the main hallway to every bedroom and everything is on the outside of the house against the glass wall. So it's crazy. It's funny though, Ricky. I'm literally playing with the tripod from that right now. Yeah.
Because it's not plug and play, unlike what you just said, you liar. You have to put stuff together.
Well, I mean, it functions as plug and play. You have to actually screw the base on if you want to.
Quit your bitching, Ricky.
God, yeah, Ricky, jeez.
Y'all about to hear me bitching and surround sound here in a second.
Yeah. Oh, the volume knob is your gain. So that is the volume of the microphone picking you up. So if you crank it up too high, it will pick up everything. And it's pretty sensitive. It's pretty sensitive too. So we'll see how well it comes with
the pop screen too.
Yeah, not that you need that currently, because that's only when it's next to your face, but it's nice to have.
Hello.
I love he's talking into the mic, but it's not it's not plugged in.
It's not plugged in, dickheads.
And it does power your phone, or is powered by your phone, so just be wary of your battery.
My phone's been plugged in this whole time, so it's got a full charge.
Yeah. So we are live. We are live checking Ricky's new thing. Either way, essentially my week is over. So what we're gonna do is take a quick break while we get Ricky's new mic set up, and then hopefully it'll be. Oh, I just thought about.
Go.
I would say. Yeah, I'm going to pause real quick and then we'll do this. No, Mike. Copyrights. Stop it. Stop it. And that leads up to now. So that was Ricky's weekend.
After we spent an hour on his week.
Yes, I was going to say I might actually just separate Ricky's entire week as an episode.
Well, you guys wanted me to run it down.
No, it's
I told
fine.
you at the
I'm not.
beginning, I was like, we could make it simple, but
No, that's not. That's not a complaint because I could literally just have that as an episode because we always need extras.
That's right.
And
thank you for feeding us with lots of content to put on the channel.
Yes, thank you for.
You're welcome for me not knowing how to shut the fuck up. You're welcome.
Yes. So,
and for anybody that I forgot, I apologize. Feel free to yell at me, but I tried to remember as many people as I could.
No offense. It's easy to forget. Because there were so many people
line up with just hate mail. You forgot about me.
Yeah, of the 3 people of the realm who actually listened to us. Shout out to those 3 people. Especially Matt Hurd.
Yeah.
Who does listen sometimes. I will say, oddly enough, our download numbers are significantly down, and I don't know what's going on with that. Doesn't seem to be a reason for it, but the last 2, like episode 10, episode 11, and their subsequent bonuses all have like nothing compared to everything else. It's really strange. Like, I think episode 10 still only has like 8 downloads, which is very odd because everything else is in like the 20s and 30s at this point.
I blame Elon Musk.
I don't. No, it's just really strange. It's like once we hit episode 10, it's like the numbers just completely dropped off. So if you are still listening, hi. But it seems like a lot of people are only catching the older episodes, which is weird.
Sorry, real quick too. I just remembered something too.
Yeah.
Literally got thrown in Facebook jail, like my first day back.
Congratulations.
How did you do
for
that?
The stupidest thing ever. Somebody, one of the people that was invited was just one.
Yes.
He couldn't make it. They said his cat was having a bar mitzvah or whatever. So somebody had mentioned something
How is a cat
about
Jewish?
him not making, like him not being there or whatever.
Wait,
no, I did that. I was like,
a bar mitzvah.
It's a joke. It's an inside joke because he has his family and stuff. He can't make that trip every year. So when he can't make it, he makes up some story, and it was his cat was having a bar mitzvah.
Okay.
But
sounds legit.
Somebody said something about him coming, and I went on there, and or he mentioned something about sorry he missed or whatever. And he doesn't live very far from me, so I told him. I literally just put it in there. I was like, well, next year the wife and I can just come by and kidnap you, and you can ride with us up there. Facebook flagged me because of the word kidnap. And gave me 3 days not being able to comment or react to anything, and then 29 days of not being able to run my groups because I'm an admin in a few groups, and not being able to self-advertise for 29 days.
That's fucking stupid.
And I got any of my posts that I make after the 3-day suspension are automatically bumped to the bottom of everybody's feeds. Like, it's crazy.
Because you said the word kidnap.
And I even had LOL and everything, and somebody was like, well, why don't you go fight it? I'm like, because by the time I finish fighting it, the time's going to be served. There's no fucking point.
Yeah, context doesn't matter to them. They just flag words. That's what
same
thing with YouTube.
Fighting it anyway, they're going to do what they're going to do regardless.
Yep.
It was crazy. So I'm in Facebook jail till tomorrow night.
With the decision, they're just going to go ahead and do whatever they do anyway.
So, speaking of someone else who's in jail, Austin St. John from Power Rangers fame.
Ha ha.
Actually, he's not in jail yet.
He was arrested. Actually, he was arrested. So.
Yeah, he was arrested and he's being sued.
Yep.
And the charges actually kind of suck because when you actually do read into it and stuff, it's not really that he did anything. It's he had some guys that he trusted his money and his corporate his
LLC fame basically, his company,
to try to build money to help something, and they ended up running a pyramid scheme like underneath his name, and now he's facing charges for it.
Yeah. So pyramid scheme is a very simplified way to say it, but essentially they got caught up in the PPP fraud surrounding the COVID-19 relief for businesses. So basically, if you were a business that was struggling or failing due to COVID-19 shutting you down, you could apply for these quote-unquote loans. To help keep yourself afloat. And they've been finding out ever since. I think they started checking into it last year, realistically. Like, there's hundreds of millions of dollars that were literally scammed from the government. People who don't even have businesses, they just lied. People who never even shut down, they just got the money. And in this case, like you just said, his company, so to speak, whatever his little LLC is, trusted it to the wrong people who went ahead and I guess probably heard from another guy who heard from another guy, because they took down like 30 something people. There's a lot of people in this particular ring of businesses.
The problem is he's the big
and
name
his
on the
name
pile,
is on
so.
top of it, even though he's not literally there doing anything, and there's probably zero communications that even say anything that he gave permission for it, because these people are doing it in his name.
To bring up an old thing, it was also the same thing that happened with Michael Vick all those years ago with the dogfighting ring.
Yeah.
When he got in all that trouble, and he actually went to jail and ended up costing him his football career pretty much. Because what happened is he bought the house for, like, he became a millionaire. He was buying houses and cars for family members.
Yeah.
He bought the house for his cousin, and his cousin and his friends were running a dogfighting rink, but the house was still in Mike Vick's name. So he's the person that the law decided to go after because he has the deeper pockets.
Yeah, of course.
And it ended up costing him everything. Which is horrible. I don't think that's very fair that the lawsuit should just chase the deepest pockets. If you can't prove they had anything to do with it, you shouldn't be chasing them regardless.
Yeah. Especially in this case, because it is like governmental. It is the actual government themselves who are coming after you, not just some company. And
if they got like emails and texts from him telling them to do this shit, or recorded videos or conversations of him saying do this shit, then fuck him. Burn that motherfucker to the ground, because he's part of the problem that makes our economy fucked up.
Yeah.
But if they don't
do the crime.
Yeah, but if they don't, if it's just Joe Bob and Jim Jack who ran his shit, go after them. I don't care if they only got $10 to their names.
Take them down. Leave him his company. Give him back everything that he lost.
Let him liquidate his company. I don't care if they want to make that part of the deal. Let him liquidate his company.
Liquidate his company. Go after him. Start over again.
The dude's already not famous for anything other than a TV show from 30 years ago. So it's not like you're chasing you're not Amanda Heard chasing Johnny Depp's pockets at this moment. Yeah. You're Jim Bob chasing his pockets.
And and despite being basically the second most famous Power Ranger, he doesn't have that money, like, comparatively. Like, JDF has millions and millions that he's made off of just Power Rangers.
Because he branded himself.
He branded himself around it, and unfortunately, due to the way they were treated and the way contracts worked way back then, and all the behind the scenes nonsense, to really dig into it, because what they did to these kids in the original run of Power Rangers was really fucked. Not
much the same story that's ever happened to a child actor.
True.
They got taken advantage of by the producers and got taken advantage of by their power of attorney, usually family members that bring their money and stuff.
So a lot of them basically just either continued an acting life of some sort and just moved on, and they still do Power Ranger stuff, conventions and whatnot like that, but otherwise they just fucking have another career. It never really went that way for him, and he got into a few different things. I think he may have been like a paramedic or a firefighter or something for a while. And he did have a couple other episodes of Power Rangers. Even a couple years ago, he came back for a kind of crossover, like cameo,
the Super Red Ranger crossover thing or whatever.
Yeah, that was that one, but this was more recent. This was literally during Dino Charge. Which one?
We all
Dino
know
Fury.
The Power Rangers.
Dino Fury
around here.
Yeah. So he came back during that, where he actually basically they were treating it as though he was sucked through time. So it was like basically supposed to be him back when he was still a Ranger, I guess, and he was pulled to the future. And they pulled in Dino-themed Rangers from all over time and space. So it brought a bunch of them, including himself. And then a bunch of the other Mighty Morphins who were uncredited because they weren't playing themselves. He's the only one who was on screen. But no, JDF is the big Power Rangers whore, let's be honest. And while
it's also because Green Ranger and White Ranger were the coolest anyways.
That's true. But he's also come back for the most series as well and been tied in. I mean,
and Kimberly was the hottest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And she still is. Amy Jo Johnson is still hot. I follow her on IG and whatnot.
She remarkably has not really aged at all.
Yeah.
Like hardly.
She had there was a rough period because I followed a lot of her career. She actually did a lot of acting after the fact. Like she was on a couple things on the CW, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. She might have even been in Felicity if I remember correctly, back in the early days of the WB. And yeah, I mean, like she was still plenty hot back then, but like even now, what is she, probably in her mid 40s, a little bit older than me, roughly Ricky's age probably, and a couple kids Canadian and whatnot, and that too. we don't hold that against her.
Yeah.
But I think David Yost probably had it way worse than anybody else because behind the scenes they knew he was gay and they really treated him like shit. And I say they in a broad term because oh yeah, he was fucking basically tortured.
It was like,
you know,
it was the very early 90s where people said and did shit that today we know is inappropriate and would never do or feel a certain way. If you saw somebody saying something, you'd be like, you said what was the word they used? Froger or whatever. Like if you heard somebody say the other word that starts with an F and ends with a T, you'd be kind of like, whoa. Like nowadays, but back then people just said that shit, but they were doing it maliciously towards him because it was he kept it very quiet.
And I think it was a lot of the crew, not necessarily the...
It was the crew members mostly,
it wasn't the cast members, because he still does a lot of stuff with the cast. Or it might have been specific cast members, maybe, but...
he had a couple. I think he had issues with Zach, the Black Ranger.
Really?
I think it was him and him. It was either he had issues with him or Zach was one of the ones that stood up for him. I don't want to
it might have been more
or say anything
way,
bad.
Yeah.
It might have been the other way too, but I just remember that when I was reading the story, they talked about the Black Ranger, and I can't remember how it went. So if it was the opposite direction, I apologize. It's not meant to be smirch him because again, I was going to say, a different time.
I think he does stuff with Walter even now, so I don't think
Walter. I mean,
go figure.
Yeah, it was kind of sad to hear some of the stuff that he talked about happening and stuff, especially back then.
Brutal.
I probably wouldn't have batted an eye. I'd be like, yep, that sounds about right. But nowadays, in this year and the world that we live in now, you're like, holy shit, I can't believe he dealt with that. You know?
And for so long. I mean, he was on the show for well, technically he was off the show, but still pretending to be on the show for a while there. But then he also kind of had the run of things whenever they were the Power Rangers kids, you know, when they got de-aged, and he had to run everything by himself, but he couldn't morph anymore, and then he had to deal with the Alien Rangers, and then he got a very unceremonious send-off where he stayed on Aquitar, and they actually did a really bad voiceover. It wasn't even him. Like, that was just... That's
bad. When he had reached his stopping point. Like he said, he either did try or contemplated committing suicide
several times.
Multiple
times.
For sure.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. You know.
And it's sad to hear. And then I know the Yellow Ranger, the Trini. Korean lady, Kwan. Trini. Yeah, she passed away.
Yeah, no, she died in a car wreck.
Did she really?
Car accident.
She died in a car accident way back then. Like couple
years.
Well,
I mean, I don't follow it like say, you guys, right?
Yeah, no, I think it was.
Well, don't say you guys because Shoki's way deep behind. I did know that.
I think legitimately it was only a couple of years after they left the show.
You obviously, Ricky, know a little bit more than me, obviously, but maybe not as much as Ricky.
No, because
Ricky definitely doesn't know as much as Ricky.
Yeah, yeah.
Shoki, whatever.
Yeah, you know the other one. The other one. No, she died in a car accident like 2 years after the show ended. Or for them,
it was like 97, 98, somewhere in there. Like
that's a real
early on. It was horrible. And the only reason why I know that is because when I was reading the Billy Yost thing, I think
Billy Yost. I like how you combine his real name and his fake name.
Is that what I messed it up? I thought that was
David.
His name. David Yost.
David,
well, hey, I give myself credit for even knowing any of that. So,
yeah. Well, I said it a little while ago.
Remembering any of it, anyways. But I read that article and I think it linked into the Trinity one. Is how I knew that.
So here's a segue.
Have an album or something out?
I think she did do a pop album.
I think maybe
something
perhaps.
Like that.
I was going to segue, and then Mike interrupted the segue. Get ready.
Oh, it's a segue, y'all.
It's a segue.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay. So speaking of those three Rangers who left the show before everyone else, in the comics, they went off to go form the Omega Rangers, and we also have more Power Rangers news, featuring
fucking nerd.
Yes, so there is Power Rangers comic news coming up around issue 100. That is of the new run, by the way. That's not the total number. That's just the new run since they rebooted the world. And we have the announcement of the big bad that will be coming out around about that time, and it is the Death Ranger, which is interesting in and of itself because, generally speaking, if it was going to be on a TV show, they couldn't use that name. But because it's in the comics, they can. And as it goes, for those who do follow the comic books, it is one of the original Omega Rangers who apparently found this key to ever-living or undying stuff. So apparently there were 6 original Omega Rangers In the current day, there's only 4. So now we know where at least one of them went, got locked away because they couldn't kill it. And so apparently in its upcoming one-off comic, which will be, I forgot exactly what it's called. Oh, it's Power Rangers Unlimited. So Power Rangers Unlimited, they do one-shots of stories and stuff like that. That's how we got like the history of Rita, the Phantom Ranger, stuff like that were in one-off comics. So this is going to be a one-off, I guess, as the introduction, because it is going to be like the new big evil ranger they have to fight, because that's basically what they can only do now, because bad guys can only go so far. And there is, of course, I don't want to say controversy, but they picked a very particular thing to make sure everyone knew about this. And I'll leave it to Mike to bring this up because he made a video on it.
Well, I mean, it could, but
yeah.
Yeah, because apparently, as far as I know, the story goes, that the Omega Rangers basically defended the universe from evil thousands of years ago.
Yep.
And the 6 of them using their elemental powers to protect others from sinister forces. Well, apparently that's the official story teaser from Boom.
Yes.
But yeah, somebody made a very how should I say, colorful tweet in response to, the reveal of the Death Ranger, where somebody kind of commented how they would like to have him balls deep inside him, and where
I didn't know it was that
bad. Yeah, well, the exact quote is, and I'm quoting here, Death Ranger is a stone cold hunk, 11 out of 10, would let him breed me balls deep.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
To which the, oh God, yeah. To which, was it Paul Allure? I think he's the, what is he? Is he the artist or the writer? I'm trying to remember which.
I believe that's the writer. The artist is somebody else.
Apparently kind of sort of corrected him, saying the Death Rangers pronouns are they, them, as is the case with their entire race. But otherwise, yes, appropriate response.
Yeah, because apparently the at least what a lot of the headlines are making sure you know, and I'm guessing because of this tweet is why it's become a thing. The Death Ranger, as it were, comes from a non-binary species. And that's not, a lot of people are going crazy over it. Oh my God, it's the first, what? If you've been following any of that end of these comics at all, that's not a new thing. They deal with alien races constantly, and even right now in the current storyline, they have a non-binary baby they've rescued that was abandoned on a planet, and because they don't even know the species, like none of their computers can even find out what it is or even identify it, they have to refer to the child, even though they finally gave it a name, as they, because the anatomy is completely alien. They have no idea what they're even looking at, and unlike humans, there's a non-binary situation. And a lot of people are freaking out saying it's the first non-binary ranger. That's also not true, because the 4th Omega Ranger, which is this is also something that's really funny, because the Omega Rangers are alien, they're based in the universe. It can be anybody could pick up these powers as long as they're worthy, essentially. The current blue Omega Ranger is a big 6-eyed tiger with a weird kind of lizard frill that comes out when it's in attack mode. And they also don't have any clue what gender, or sex rather, Yale, which is the character's name, is. And because it doesn't speak, because it's a cat, they don't know. So sometimes they say he, sometimes they say they, because even, like, I looked it up in the wiki just to check, and it says undetermined, and with he question mark. So, like, and there's no other versions of his species at all. Like, so it's not like they can even say, okay, so that's a female or whatever. So there's nothing even to base it on. And I haven't gotten that far in that section of the comics. So the next deluxe edition I'm getting has that part of the story in it, where Yale gets introduced. So I'll maybe have more answers there. But I even thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute, they refer to Yale as they sometimes, and then every now and then they just very neutrally say the big cat or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. I was like, yeah, you want to make a big deal about it. It's like, but this is for people who don't follow the comics at all. Because in the comics, especially out there and at Safe Haven, as it's known, where they're bringing in all these species, the victims of the Imperials, there's all kinds of species. And like binary, non-binary, animal, human-looking, whatever, robots. For instance,
I want to interrupt for 1 second.
Sure.
To tell you something that cracks me the fuck up.
Sure.
When people say non-binary, that leaves everybody who's not non-binary as binary.
Yeah.
So by saying you're non-binary, you're creating a binary system in and of itself. So it's ironic that you call yourself non-binary.
I know.
I just think that's hilarious.
It's always
that cracks me up. That's like one of those, like, every time I hear somebody say it, I just snicker a little. Not because I give a shit what they call themselves, just because of the literal definition of the term. It's fucking hilarious. That's like like a Monty Python thinker joke. Like you'd actually have to understand what a binary system is and all that kind of stuff to kind of get that. And it just kind of makes me giggle every time I hear it.
It's almost as funny as Geode from Star Wars: The High Republic.
Yeah.
It's a freaking rock.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought I was missing something.
No, it's a rock, but they call it something fancy.
So
it's rock.
So now, sci-fi is very much, they've played with this forever. Star Trek is infamous for having, either trinary or non-binary species, or literally like the binars themselves was the black and white. They were literally a very specific that. And then in the next generation, they also did it in TNG and in Enterprise, where somebody fell in love with the third wheel, technically speaking, of a romantic relationship, because that species needed, like, basically, like, there's the egg and then there's a sperm, but neither has the ability to actually house a child. So there's a third gender in that species that literally can embody the reproductive part of that. So that's an interesting way to look at it. But then what I find even funnier is, like, when people really freak out about these things, and I remembered way back when to Star Trek Voyager with species 8472, which is identified as having at minimum 5 genders that they can confirm. And that's a very alien species from technically another universe. So it's like,
yeah, true.
How do you and this is so funny, because we think about our literal binary system and most of the way things function on our world, and I mean that literally on Earth, is like, it's really hard to actually think, like, there's no concept of actual other genders. Like, leave the trans argument out of there, or the other, those things like that. Just leave that alone, because the reproductive organs are the same regardless. We don't have a concept of other reproductive.
Yeah, like it's always penises, vaginas, breasts, uterus, like it's testicles. It's always what we envision as gender placed on top of sci-fi.
In very much in the literal reproductive manner. Like, forget all the other stuff. And it's like, and yes, we have things that are like asexual, where, a more simple organism can reproduce on its own. Yeah. Or you have the concept of where, like, go like with seahorses, for instance, if you're going to go with that weird, where the male houses and then births the babies later. That's a weird thing, but still within the same binary. So, like, it is a funny thought to think about, because even like in the comics, so to speak, there's no way to draw something you've never seen. So you have to draw something as neutral as you can consider, that where you wouldn't imply one way or the other. And what's really funny, so there is a main character in the Omega Ranger story that is technically non-binary, and it's a robot. So that makes sense, because
that does make sense.
So in a robot, it's just like, okay. And for a while it got really confusing, because when you're reading pronouns, it gets a little confusing when they're talking about a singular organism and they say they. But then I realized what was going on, because usually they just refer to the robot by name, which also, having never been spoken, gets very confusing because it's XI. Now, it's never stated on whether that's the number 11, or it's G, or she, or Kasi, depending on the language. So it's like, because it's never been said.
Maybe it's more like XI, like how we have XX and XY. It's just
maybe literally it could be that, but because it's never been spoken, nobody knows.
It's hard to know.
So yeah, and then like, and because it is just a robot, like an android, basically, it is none of the above. So it makes sense for it to be completely somewhat neutral, and because we don't have words for that, then that's where they comes in. But that's one of those weird, complicated situations with language, because we don't have something for that. But I always find it strange that to use they when referring to a singular being.
Because
that's where like
sense, right? Because they means means more multiple, than one.
Yeah, it implies to be multiple.
To multiple.
Yeah, and it's just that's a weird thing about, maybe it's just our language, or at least the languages that are very similar to ours. And that's just, but in the comics, that's where it gets interesting, because you can have non-binary characters in a very literal sense, or you can have trinary, or however many naries you want to have, because you're just making shit up. You don't have to be stuck with a human female body that, you can make whatever up and draw it out. But like, for people to really be making a big deal about it, it strikes me as people who haven't been reading. Like, that's why, because if you Google it, like right now, Death Ranger or Power Rangers comics Death Ranger, the first like 7 headlines you're going to see is going to be first binary ranger, or binary excitement about this, or representation of I was like, it's not representation technically, because those people aren't aliens. They're still humans. It's like, if you want to claim that it's representation, we already have non-binary or other gendered beings within this comic, even within the Rangers themselves, and that's an even more alien type being. Now, mind you, we haven't seen what the Death Ranger looks like outside of its really cool uniform, if I'm honest. Because the Omega Ranger uniforms are actually pretty fucking cool. Not gonna lie, it takes like the best kind of shit.
I doubt it, you fucking nerd.
Google, or I'll post the fucking Omega Rangers. They're pretty fucking cool.
I bet you it's a spandex with a white diamond and some kind of animal somewhere on it.
There's a gold diamond in the center of the chest, but they have the flared out shoulders, like your favorite green and or white Rangers. And each one is color coded depending on the
yes, they're my favorite because of the flared shoulder pads, because I love 80s power women.
You do
suits.
But and the fact that like they actually kind of borrow from Star Trek a little bit, because like the bottom half of the suits are actually more black, and then the colors and the gold go up from there. It actually looks kind of like the Star Trek uniforms.
Kind of like Romulan-esque.
Well, no, actually more like Starfleet. You know how Starfleet, when especially
TNG,
the newer TNG and Voyager, where it was like the black and then a color code up top.
Yeah. I was still picturing the flared shoulder pad thing.
Yeah. Sorry, no.
Yeah.
So they do the Omega Rangers look pretty cool, but this does beg the question: who is the 5th Omega Ranger, or what is that power? Because in general,
it'll be the Life Ranger.
Well, no, they already
because there must be balance.
Yeah, but it also depends on the story behind the Death Ranger and where it
sounds like they're totally ripping off the Brightest Day, Darkest Night story.
And as the Death Ranger is non-binary, the Life Ranger will have like a million genders.
No, it'll be very singular. It'll be neutral.
It's gonna be a humanoid figure with vaginas for eyes and penises for phalanges.
So it's basically going to be it's going to be the band members from Star Wars.
God, the cantina. Yes. It's gonna be old dick hands from Star Wars.
What's interesting, what I do find interesting is so far, like every Ranger we've seen is very humanoid. If not, even when you got into like SPD, where like they're out in, there are aliens involved because it's in the future. We got the doggy type people, like Doggy Kruger, very much looks like a space dog. And, so that was about the most alien type of Ranger we've seen. But even in his morphed form, the only thing you get out of that is just pointy ears. It still looks like a Ranger. But in this case, like with Yale, which is a big fuck off cat, like bigger than like most large cats, like lions and whatnot here.
Hashtag not my Transformers because not my Power Rangers.
Well, it's not your Power Rangers because you haven't read the comics. So
no, anything post the first Power Rangers movie is all made up canon.
The first Power Rangers movie is also made up canon.
I'm familiar with.
I'm glad you picked that up, Shoki.
Yeah, the first Power Rangers movie is outside of canon in the first place.
all things are made up canon.
Yes, except for the Bible. The Bible's real, all of it. I'm not getting into this fight today. Anyways,
and there's a whole chorus of crickets.
Yes, but anyway, I was just making. What is the Bible's canon? What is is the Old Testament still canon? So we do have ever so slightly other news. Not super important, but I talked about it a long time ago. The Windchesters, a prequel series to Supernatural. For those Supernatural fans,
cares.
Nobody wants. No. For those actual Supernatural fans, nobody will want this series after watching the trailer. It completely talk about canon issues. One single source. There's only one single source for Supernatural, and they literally went. How the fucking main star of the show who put this together somehow let it spin so far out of canon, I have no fucking clue. I don't understand. I kind of wanted to watch it until I watched this trailer, and I'm like,
if it's it could just be a bad trailer too. Dude.
No, because they literally spell out how different the story is from what they've already established, and I'm not happy about it. But I'm I'm more outraged about the Firefly reboot that's coming.
I didn't even look at it because as soon as I saw the words Firefly, Disney Plus, and reboot, I was like, "Yep, I'm already out."
Yeah. No. Just no. No. Just Disney. No. Fuck you. Sorry.
No,
leave it alone. Too late. Forget, people wanted a continuation. Nobody wants a reboot.
No, nobody wants a reboot.
And it's too late for a continuation. I mean, you could, the comics
because most of the characters that we really loved, we already saw their final acts in the Serenity movie.
I want my Jane. I want my book. I want my, I just want all of them all. It's awfully going to be hard because, the guy that played Book passed away, I believe.
Did he? Ron Glass is dead?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm pretty sure. I'm really sure.
I shall Google because I like Ron Glass. Oh, yeah, you're right. He did
the interwebs.
Yeah. Yeah.
He died in 2016, actually. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was old as balls, so I guess that's fine.
He was.
But it doesn't matter.
Damn, he played it so good.
If you did a sequel series, even though it's what? How many years has it been now? 20 years?
Because then Mal's still dead, and he's still the best part of that show.
Mal didn't die.
Not Mal. What's his face? The redhead.
Nobody help him. Let him bring it up on his own, or let him try to remember.
Mal's the main guy.
Yeah. Who's the pilot?
It starts like a W or something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wash?
I said don't say it. I said let him figure it out.
It would have been forever.
He was getting there. He was either way. Yes. No.
No, I'd have just Googled it and pretend like I had the answer.
No, I'd be okay if they continued it like the comics have continued it.
No, I like Wash was my favorite character. They killed him off in Serenity. So
spoilers.
Unless they're gonna
spoilers for the Serenity movie. Nobody's listening this late anyways.
If you haven't spent time out of your life to watch 13 fucking episodes in one movie and you call yourself a Firefly fan, you can eat my taint. I don't give a fuck about spoiler. Yeah, so my thing about it is, unless they're willing to do a continuation that literally picks up somewhere after season 1 but totally ignores Serenity, I'm not in for it.
Even though they can't.
They could.
I think I think the idea, you can't ignore Serenity though. It's too important to the characters.
It's really not. It's not. It's only important to the characters to us because that's all we've had since season 1. If they created a season 2 that, even if they had a time jump, fast forward 10 years to make up for the age of the actors and all that shit, and just acted like Serenity didn't happen, or talk about it like as a training exercise. It was something that we did on the holodeck, some bullshit like that to explain it away.
I don't want it right
with that, but Serenity is just so, like I said, it's just so epic. It's a great movie.
Firefly without Wash is a Firefly without Ricky.
Well, that sucks. But I think if they were ever going to do a season 2, it would have had to have taken place before Serenity. I think that would have been the smarter way to go. Like, so even
There's
if they
not that big of a time gap. That's the problem. That's why I said
no, there is. But the thing is, they never tell you. They never tell you how long. True. There's no set time period of when anything is happening.
You just go by the age of somebody's a teenager is now like in their 20s.
Well, I'm saying that if they had continued it, like say it got revived because of Serenity, they could have slipped it in before Serenity and then kept Ron Glass and kept Alan Tudyk in. No problem, because nobody looked that much older, realistically. Yep. I mean...
But now here you are 20 years later.
Yeah, now. No, yeah.
Older.
Now it has to
Some
be a
sequel. Some of them are dead. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like they could just pick up after season 1, explain away Serenity somehow within story.
Yeah.
And then have all those characters there, explain off Glass being gone, explain off Tour being gone. Like they can make that happen with a time jump.
It was a horrible dream sequence.
I think that realistically, when
they
it
were
comes
all
to
in the
this
island where the plane crash actually killed them.
That's right.
I think what nobody realizes what he's referencing. I think
I'm referencing a show that I've never even watched.
Yeah, because you're actually
I'm a nerd.
wrong about that. But either way.
No, they died in a plane crash, and the whole entire show was them sitting in purgatory.
No, they were actually wrong about that.
You're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
I'm telling you,
you didn't even watch it.
You're a chuckle fuck. Don't argue with me.
I've seen it many times.
Yeah. You're a chuckle fuck who watched it.
Oh, this fucking chuckle fucking asshole over here.
You're both chuckle fucks. Shut your fucking face,
okay,
chuckle fucker.
So I know what the bonus episode is going to be called now. It's going to be Chuckle Fuck Goes to Skullfest.
Nice. if you can't call it that because neither one of y'all went to Skullfest and they said you guys were the chuckle.
Well,
fucks.
I control the titles, so therefore I can call it whatever I want.
Dun, dun, dun.
Not really.
Yeah,
really. We live in a democracy.
No,
make us look good, Jogi.
No,
make us look good.
There's no way to do that. I'll just hit delete. I'll just hit delete.
Not that anybody's
That's the best
ever
way.
listened to this.
No, nobody's going to listen to these 3.5 hours. There's only one last little bit, but we can talk about it later, and that was about updates on Amber Heard and her situation with DC movies. But then again, I don't have actual confirmation because there were so many conflicting fucking articles written about her continuing to play Mira that
I'm just all clickbait.
Yeah, because I'm just going to wait to see the truth, because some say that it's been greatly reduced. Some say that Jason Momoa
Let
came
me
to
let
her
you know a
defense.
little secret.
Yeah.
Her shitting on his bed, beating him, not beating him, all that shit, none of that fucking matters. She looks hot as a Mira, and she did an okay job.
Yeah,
the only thing that would make me go, she doesn't need to be in there, is if they can prove that she negatively impacted his life because of her detrimental statements that turned out to be false.
Yes.
If they can prove that, that bitch needs to go. She needs to go on the blacklist just like he got blacklisted.
Well, here's the thing.
If they can't prove that, then it doesn't. Then the rest of that is just bullshit between him and her.
I agree.
They can handle.
I agree with that. However, what one of the articles was implying was actually had nothing to do with the legal troubles. It actually just had to deal with her and Jason Momoa having like zero chemistry, and like just like, look, we don't need to spend a fuckload of time on screen together because this just isn't working.
Yeah, but then supposedly Jason Momoa like stood up and was.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that's why it's a problem. But you know, if they want to make the decision based on the case, the court case, and all this kind of shit, and it is true, whatever. But you know, it's also the same thing like for Ezra Miller. It's like he's in all kinds of legal trouble, but DC doesn't care. So why would DC care about what's going on with Amber Heard unless it directly affects their bottom line?
Yeah.
Whoa, what just happened?
I turned my microphone back on because I was coughing. I didn't.
You muted. Okay, that was that was weird. But either way, you know, there's like I said, I wanted to bring it up, but there's no definitive answer because I saw so many conflicting things. But either way, the point is they're still making an Aquaman 2, which I honestly don't think is necessary because, like, what the fuck? Like, while I liked Aquaman 1, the DCEU as it currently is kind of dead except for the villains. So it's like, I don't even know that we need another Aquaman movie currently. Like, I don't know that people care enough. Like, the Flash movie, it has the hype because they were doing Flashpoint, blah, blah, blah. But Aquaman, like, there's no hype. There's gonna be Aquaman.
Believe me, the only hype in that Flash movie is the fact that '89 Batman's gonna be in it.
Nobody gives a that's all it is. Nobody else cares. The other Flash is in there. No one gives a fuck. You know, he's crossing over.
If they went, look, we're canceling the Flash movie to put out a sequel to Batman Returns instead. Everybody would cheer louder.
You mean Batman Beyond? We're gonna just do Batman Beyond.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice, Aquaman makes a tuna sandwich because he can't do other shit.
Look, how about we do?
Because he's a cannibal. Because he's a tuna fucker.
That's right.
So let's have Robert Pattinson play Terry McGinnis, and we'll bring back Keaton to play old ass Bruce Wayne. And we'll just do Batman Beyond.
No. Or just have Michael Keaton come back and do Dark Knight Returns Batman.
I don't want that, to be honest.
Better than doing the Batman Beyond story, because the Batman Beyond story is off of the animated series, not '89 Batman.
Yeah, they're all the same.
No, they're not. You shut your dirty whore mouth.
Oh, that and Bruce is bi now. So.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
But it's canon now.
In what universe?
Exactly. Which Bruce Wayne are you talking about?
I'm kidding.
I know you tried, but I don't fall for that clickbait shit. The same way they had that Superman's pansexual, and then when you click on it, it's really not. It's his son from an alternate reality Superman. Yeah, so nice try, clickbait.
I mean, that wasn't actual clickbait because the problem is whether or not he's technically Superman, because that comic is.
But he's not, because
weird.
In the comic where it happens, Clark Kent is still Superman. He's more.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
If anything.
Yeah, because that's why I said it's confusing on whether he is or is not Superman, because at some point, Clark is doing other things and John is taking care of stuff on the level he used to. So it's like, is he Superman? Has Superman now become whoever? Because I also think that Superman's identity is revealed also in this universe. So everybody knows he's Clark Kent. So I don't know if he even bothers with the Superman title anymore. But that's the problem with these universes, is they've done so much shit like that. It's hard to know. But yeah,
it's like spin it off and call it a different universe, destroy it and envelop it and pull it back into Earth Prime.
That's what they always do anyways. But I think the other thing is they don't want to call him Superboy, because there was other Superboys, at least Superboy Prime from Crisis, and I don't think because they still want to be able to pull him out whenever they want. I don't think they want to have that.
Just call him Super Teen.
Or he's just the new Superman, because
Lad.
Well, in DCeased,
there we go.
Yeah, in DCeased, he does become Superman proper later on after the time skip.
Yeah.
So I mean,
comics now are a joke.
Cool story, bro. It's clickbait. It's not legit.
You're clickbait. This was clickbait.
Sometimes.
Whatever I put as the title.
I trick my wife into stuff sometimes.
I bet. So like, whatever the title is probably clickbait. I don't actually know what the title is going to be just yet. I have ideas, but I'm not sure. But either way,
if it says anything about Ricky being a chuckle fucker, I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna be that episode.
I'm gonna complain. I'm complaining straight to YouTube. I'm gonna get your video banned.
Why?
Because I'm not
trying to be edgy, Ricky.
No.
Chuckle.
You say two chuckle fuckers listen to a story about
Chuckle fucker goes to Skullfest.
Immediately complaining to YouTube, shuts down video.
You're a bona fide asshole chuckle fucker.
I know, right? I've been singing that song in my head ever since I did that too.
All right, guys, but that's going to be it. So, of course, you can follow us on all the podcast-related apps if you aren't doing that already. Actually, finally, Google and Apple finally started showing up in the numbers. So people are hearing us on Google Podcasts and on Apple Podcasts /iTunes.
Did you add the Nerd Rage link last week?
Yeah, I did.
Sure.
So, yes, so you can follow us on there. If you do want to contact the show and yell at us and or ask us questions, you can do so at the NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail @gmail.com. It's linked down below.
But just know, if you come up here yelling at us, we're grown-ass adults, and we get to yell back at you, and you don't get to be butthurt. If you can't take it, don't dish it. That's all I'm telling you. If you come up here yelling at us, and even like if you're giving, like, let's just use Mike as shit because he's our whipping boy. If you come up here yelling at Mike, I might yell at you too, even if I'm in agreement with what you're saying, just because I feel like yelling at a motherfucker that day. So don't be butthurt when it happens.
First of all, he's our whipping man.
No,
he's not a boy.
He hasn't become Superman yet.
He's whipping ma'am.
He's whipping lad. Whipping lad.
I think just for saying whipping so much, we're gonna get in trouble. God. Also, you can follow me at all the SHOKY related things, all linked down below. You don't have to subscribe, but if you want to, you can. Also, always shout out to the people from the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense channel who come over here and listen just because they like listening to our nonsense, or they're just a fan of the way I do things. And then, of course, you got Mike the Comic Relief Crusader, who keeps...
I think it's because they just like me, SHOKY.
I think Will was on your side until this week.
Yep.
So Comic Relief Crusader, link down below to the Facebook and the YouTubes, and Freelance Graphics, where you can go buy his scale charts of G1 Transformers so that you can prove that New Age made their Cyclonus too fucking big.
And you choose where the G goes.
There's no G.
Damn it. I'm never going to be good at this.
But, you know, we're men. We can't find the G anyways.
There's no G in graphics?
No, there is a G.
There's a silent P.
But we're talking about the K at the end, which is not in C.
You're a silent P.
No, I pee loud. I stand up, unlike Joe. And then, of course, you can follow Nerd Rage Radio's Facebook, where Ricky's promo videos for Nerd Rage Radio are also there. I won't technically promo their whole show because they're significantly bigger than us. But you can go see what Ricky does for their show.
And I still promo their whole show because they are the Podfathers. We all listen to them, and that is the...
I'm going to stop listening to them.
That was the pinned in point where we all kind of intersected with each other there.
Okay, so speaking of which, I'm now mad because I had a top 5 idea that they fucking proposed in this episode. And I'm like, God damn it, now I can't do it. Because they're doing it. I was like, damn it, I had that idea. It's like, but we can't do it the same week they do it, because then it looks really bad.
I mean, only because they invented top 5 thoughts on podcasts.
They did. Well, at least the format of it. So we just can't do it the same week they do it. So you have to let us know if they do it.
Which top 5 were
Dave Letterman?
It was the
top 5 were you talking about?
Top 5 cartoon intros.
Yeah, we'll just
we actually talked about that before.
Well, no, I mean, but actually doing it as a sit-down top 5 list. So like that's like I literally wanted to do that like ever since we talked about some of those type of things, and I was like, we should have done it.
I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that recording yet. If they've made it yet, and the answer is Silverhawks. Yeah. Silverhawks, Heatcliff.
We'll talk about it. Save it. We'll do it. Save it. We'll do it. But I'm saying if they do it, and you do the promo, let me know.
Heatcliff?
Yeah.
Do you remember Heatcliff?
I do.
Heatcliff, no one could terrify the neighborhood. Like I still remember that shit.
He was the Dennis the Menace of cats.
Hey, first of all, Dennis the Menace was the boy of him.
Wait, which one came out first in the comics?
It doesn't matter. Heatcliff is cooler.
Either way, so
but yeah, Dennis the Menace been around for a long fucking time.
Yeah, that's true. But is Garfield older than both of them?
No, Garfield was the 80s.
Not cartoon wise. I mean, comic wise, comic strip wise.
That's what I'm talking about.
We'll have to look. Either way, guys, if you know the answer to that, leave us in the comments down below, and maybe we'll do that top 5 cartoon show intros later on, because we actually did, many years ago on the SHOKY Nerdcast, we did a 5-hour fucking podcast about 90s cartoons and TV shows. So, if you want to listen to that, you can see it on the SHOKY channel. Either way. But, guys, that's going to be it for this episode, and, of course, we'll leave you with, okay, bye!
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 I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.